All right, John, Graham Platner's blue-collar brand facing new scrutiny as critics point to financial records that show he earned little from the oyster farming career that he's built his campaign around. Lisa Boothe is here, Fox News political analyst and the Truth with Lisa Boothe podcast host. Lisa, it's great to have you
Good to see
here.
you, Sandra.
All right, so what are people to make of this?
Well, there's a lot to make of it. I mean, the guy's a mess, but what I'm interested in seeing in the primary is, you know, Maine's got this funky ranked choice voting for the primary, so does he clear 50 easily? Is there a protest vote? Because you still have two other Democrats technically on the ballot. They've not really actively been campaigning like Platner has, but they're on the ballot. So what does that look like here? You know, and also Democrats, they still have until July 13th to try to encourage him to voluntarily step down if he does, in fact, win the primary, which it certainly looks like that's going to be the case. So he's on thin ice right now, I think, with the Democrat Party. But they're going to keep him. They're going to support him. They're at least publicly going to stand behind him unless he becomes a political polling liability, like we saw with Joe Biden, where they stood behind him until it was very obvious that he would end up losing the general election, and then Democrats sort of uniformly kicked him out of the race.
All right, Susan Collins, an important voice in all of this. She had some words earlier at that House hearing. Let's listen to this exchange. Listen.
Graham Platner, from this New York Times report, do you believe his denials?
The allegations against Graham Platner are extremely troubling and serious, and he owes the people of Maine a detailed answer.
He says that this is
I haven't heard that yet.
This after she was finally put in the position to actually respond. She avoided the questions earlier. Listen.
What do you think of the sexting scandal that Platner's involved in now? What was your reaction when you heard about it?
I'm on my way to a hearing with Secretary Rubio. I really have nothing to add.
Anything you can say about the Platner scandal, the sexting scandal?
As I said to you earlier, I do not have anything to add to this.
So obviously this is putting a lot of those involved in tough position.
Well, yeah, and I don't really think she has to go after him hard right now. I mean, there's 5 months to make the case against Graham Platner. And we've already seen there was a Susan Collins super PAC out with a recent poll just prior to the New York Times article coming out with some of the allegations from his ex-girlfriends. And that poll already showed them even in this race, Graham Platner and Susan Collins as well. It also showed that the majority of individuals who learned about the fact that he was on a Kick account, which is known to be a predator's paradise, the vast majority changed their opinion of him. So there's still 5 months of opposition research to go up for Republicans groups, to go up on the TV ads with, and also, you know, other forms of advertising against him. I almost think the challenge is there's so much material. Are voters too inundated with it that they start to tune it out because there's so much material against Graham Platner? But he is a damaged candidate and hanging on barely.
So speaking to that, the damaged candidate that so many see him as, what about the vetting process? This is the Democrat activist apparently behind Platner's Senate bid, speaking to the Wall Street Journal about his recent scandals. Listen.
How did you go about vetting him? And why did you?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts?
The firm sent us a thing and it had some of the posts, but it didn't have all of them.
Might not want to be laughing when asked about the vetting process, considering this.
And you have the Nazi tattoo, and then you also have something like 1,400 Reddit posts. How do they not flag those? And then also within those Reddit posts, you've got racist comments, blaming rape victims, the list goes on. How did you not know he was on a Kick app? So the opposition researchers that they hired, these people should be fired and never used again. Look, I've worked on campaign committees. I've worked on top races in the country. The people who do that job are typically very good. And a lot of this information would be easily findable. And then the contrast for Democrats and the challenge that they're going to have is how do you lay a glove on Susan Collins? This would be her 6th election cycle in Maine. She's pointed out the fact that she's the chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee, the first time someone from Maine has served as chairman of that committee in 92 years. She just cast her 10,000th consecutive vote even having Chuck Schumer praise her for doing that job. So there's not a lot of material to use against her. And you can't really even say that she's MAGA because she voted to convict President Trump in the second impeachment. They don't really get along, clearly. So how are you going to lay the hits against her where you look at Graham Platner? I mean, we don't even have time. Like, if you were to scroll down the list of, the baggage that he has, it would be like a never-ending, continuous stroll.
I just want to finish up with this sound from John Thune. Listen here.
State of Maine, that voters there are going to have to make a decision. They've got a primary today, but this guy has a ton of liabilities. And, a misogynist Nazi is, if that's what the Democrat Party in this country wants to endorse and subscribe to, they've got a candidate for that.
Quick final thought. Ultimately, he says voters will have to decide.
I do think Collins will end up pulling this off. She outperformed President Trump on the ballot in 2020 by almost 18 points. That kind of split ticket voting is unheard of in modern day politics. So I do think she'll end up pulling it off. Also, it looks like the overall political environment is not in a wave category for the Democrat Party. So I don't think that the environment is going to be so strong that it eliminates someone like Susan Collins, particularly someone who always outperforms the expectations in her races.
Well, a lot to watch there. Lisa, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Sandra, as always.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.